Hi everyone, welcome back to the Averity Insurance Podcast. We're on episode 4. Myself, Lewis, and then my beautiful wife, Natalie here. Last episode, we went a little bit over what's fraud, waste, and abuse as far as the insurance world, health insurance, ACA, Medicare, all that stuff. Today's episode, we're going to be touching a little bit more lighter topic, ways that you guys can actually save money, and some programs and assistance programs that actually help benefit you as an individual. Yeah. A lot of people don't know that there's a lot of help out there that you could actually reach out directly to them and get more help from these specific private companies. They're not even the insurance companies. They're actually private companies that offer these assistance programs for people that can't afford certain medications, certain procedures, or anything like that. So let's go ahead and let's dive right into it. Right?
Let's go.
So real ways to save on health insurance. So what are some tips for getting the best value out of your marketplace plan?
So definitely one way to get the most value out of your insurance, a lot of the things that I always tell my clients is always avoid the hospital. The hospital is life or death. Please avoid the hospital at all costs. Yeah. Unless it is something that is like life or death, it's 1 a.m, nowhere's open, you kind of have no choice at that point. But urgent care will treat you just as good. It will cost a fraction of the price, and there's probably way less wait than the hospitals have.
Oh yeah. And something I like to play around with my clients. I always tell them, like, the hospital is always going to be the most expensive hotel.
It is.
They charge you they charge you like $2,000, $3,000 per day.
It is.
And plus whatever other procedures that you get. If you get an X-ray, if you get medications are going to be more expensive. Everything.
Yeah, everything.
They charge you for every single little small detail. So urgent care, you pay a small copay. Some copays are a little bit higher than others, right? Because depending on the plan. But like Natalie said, you don't have to wait so long. I've heard of people waiting 2 to 3 hours. I think you yourself, when you went to the hospital a few years ago,
small things like stitches, a stomach ache, a fever, little things that are urgent. It's really important to know the difference between emergency and urgent. So things that are urgent that can't wait a doctor's visit, can't wait 2-3 weeks. It's urgent. It's now a cut on your finger, maybe a sprained ankle, something like that, a stomach ache, that's not appendicitis, God forbid. Head over to the urgent care, depending on your plan, and these are things that you can look at in your summary of benefits. Depending on your plan, urgent care could cost $5, $10, $50, $75, but compared to a hospital visit, again, it's a fraction of the price. So one way that you can save is always going to urgent care for something that is urgent. Another way is getting to know your formulary. So each insurance company has a formulary. It's basically a library, a catalog, I would say, of medications that they cover. So for example, certain medication might be on this insurance company's formulary, but it might not be on another insurance company's formulary. So these are things that you as a client should be talking about with your agent. Right,
because you want to make sure that whatever plan you sign up, remember that you're going to sign up for that plan, and you're kind of stuck with that plan unless you qualify for a special enrollment period for the rest of the year. So you got to make sure that if you are taking a specific medication, whether it be Eliquis, or any high cost medication, you always want to make sure that's on there, because then later on comes a problem where you go to pick up your medication and it's not covered.
And they're not covered, and you're wondering, hey, why is my copay $100? Why my copay $150? So each medication falls into a category. So there's tier 1 all the way to tier 5. Tier 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Tier 1 and 2 being the cheapest, most affordable. Tier 5 being the most expensive. This medication is life-saving.
Well, they're mixing it up in the back of the lab. Like that.
Very, very precise, expensive medication. And if you don't ask the right questions, we can't just assume that all insurance companies are going to cover XYZ medication. So those are things that you have to look out for sure.
And also, just so you guys know, there's also preferred pharmacies that one specific company will work better than with another pharmacy.
Right.
So maybe this company works with CVS and Walgreens, and this one only works with Walgreens. So you always want to make sure before you guys are going to go pick up your medication, which is your preferred network pharmacy. So that way you save the most amount of money possible.
Yeah. I've had people that accidentally go to the wrong pharmacy and end up paying twice the price for the medication just because it was the wrong pharmacy. And that's why it's so important to know like what's in network. Each insurance company has their preferred network, preferred labs, preferred doctors, preferred medication, preferred everything, you know. So get to know your insurance plan.
And also there's certain medications that require you to take other medications before. They have step therapy, they have prior authorization, they have what's the other one? Quantity limit. There's a few little terms. If you guys have your formulary, there's going to be like a legend where it tells you like this is that. So what that means is pretty much you have to have that specific requisite in order for you to get that medication. So some of them might require step therapy, so you'll need to take X medication first before you get that one.
Yeah, I'll dive into step therapy really fast. Step therapy is you have an expensive medication that you want the insurance to cover. Insurance company says, wait a minute, I want you to try a cheaper medication before we go cover this expensive one.
Right.
So either you have to go through that process of taking the cheaper one first and seeing if it works for you or not, and then the doctor would have to write a letter saying, hey, this didn't work for her or for him, or just directly have the doctor say, this doesn't work for her. Like, we already tried, this doesn't work for this person. We have to go straight to the expensive medication.
And something that we're going to touch base on also, what she mentioned, as far as like the doctor writing down the script telling them like, no, we already tried this medication. What did we touch base on? I think a few episodes back, everything is stored in that medical information bureau.
Yeah.
So if you actually did try that medication, it's there.
Right.
So they're going to know, okay, they did try this medication before, so let's go ahead and approve it and get it approved right away. So that way they can start taking that medication right away.
Yeah.
So those are things that, you know, obviously if you guys don't know that,
The modern day consumer doesn't really know that.
Doesn't know that.
That's why us as agents, we exist. And if you're an agent and you're watching this and you don't know most of this information, you need a better team, you need a better upline, you need to get more training, all of the above.
Yeah, and then this leads into our next topic as far as copay and medication assistance programs.
Yeah.
So a lot of these companies out there, drug manufacturers, offer copay assistance programs. You obviously have to qualify for these things and make sure that you are on, let's say some of them I know that have like, they'll say you have to have a commercial plan. Or you have to have a non-government funded plan. So that means that you have to have a specific plan for them to even consider you.
Right.
Then you have to, maybe some of them, they do ask for like certain, maybe medical notes.
Right.
And some of them ask for your personal information, of course, full name, date of birth, all that stuff.
More proof.
How long you've taken the medication for, let's say for an example, Eliquis. What else? Have you tried other medications, etc.? So they want to pre-qualify you before you get that copay assistance program.
Right.
And there's a lot of companies out there, a lot of manufacturers out there that offer these type of things. Obviously, not all of them do offer this. So there are some medications out there where, unfortunately, that's just the way it is.
Yeah. There are times that you can reach out directly to the manufacturer. Any type of expensive medication, let's say the insurance doesn't cover it. Let's say you can't find an insurance that it's on the formulary. At that point, you're best, number one, talking to the doctor directly and saying, hey, doc, this medication's expensive, I can't find a plan that covers this. Or secondly, reach out directly to the company, Google the name of the medication, reach out to the manufacturer, call them up and just say, I cannot afford this medication and I really need to take it. Yeah. They will guide you in the right steps, what to do, what to fill out, what applications to fill out. Besides that, what are the websites that you can look for? Even if you don't have insurance, there's websites that you can get on to get discounts on medication.
Yeah, I mean, companies like GoodRx, I'm sure that's a very popular one. If you ever go to the pharmacy, they have like a little, it's like a little business card and it has like a code. You text them, blah, blah, and then you get a discount on your medication. Another one's Needy Meds.
I just found out about that one. It's actually a really good one. That one's for really expensive medication, where GoodRx is for pretty much anything, antibiotics, things like that.
And the funny thing is, sometimes it comes out cheaper than having the actual insurance. Yeah. I've seen it happen multiple times where like my clients like, oh, I got a $25 copay. They go on GoodRx and they get it for like $10.
Yeah.
So
it's true.
It's all about, it's kind of like bargain shopping. If you're gonna go to this grocery store, maybe it's cheaper than the other one.
Yep.
What else? There's also RX Assist. There's another one called Pan Foundation. So, there's a few of them. There's a few different companies out there. You could always Google it and try to see if there's another option. But there's a lot of them. And you want to make sure that if you guys are going to sign up for something like that, or you guys are taking the medication like that, look for those savings options because it's out there. It's out there. It's not like it's not out there. So, then let's go into extra help for seniors, so Medicaid and more. income and asset thresholds for dual eligibility. So for those of you out there that are 65 and over that have Medicare,
or maybe you have someone in your family who is 65 and older,
or disabled, anything like that. A good benefit of having both Medicare and Medicaid together is that they have almost little to no cost on all of their medical
on everything.
services.
It's almost zero on everything.
Yeah. So pretty much all your copays, deductibles, medications, all that stuff comes out completely free.
Yeah.
You know, you don't have to pay for any of that stuff.
Essentially, Medicaid would pick up whatever Medicare doesn't.
Right.
So in
Exactly.
turn, the person has no copays to pay.
Exactly. So now, of course, you have to qualify for Medicaid.
Right.
In Medicaid, you have to have a certain income level a month, and you can't surpass that. Once you surpass that, then you do not qualify anymore.
Right.
So there's a lot of people out there that, you know, I'll give an example as far as like my grandpa. My grandpa, rest in peace, he already passed away, but a few months before he passed away, he got a letter in the mail saying that his SSI benefit increased $20. That pushed him over the threshold.
Right.
And then they took away his Medicaid.
Right.
So when they take away your Medicaid and you have Medicare, you are starting to pay your $184 Part B premium.
Yeah.
So realistically, he didn't make any money. He lost
It didn't go up
and
at
he
all.
lost benefits.
It went down.
So he had to start paying for his medications, paying for his doctor's visits and stuff like that. So it's very important that for those of you that are out there that do not know how to qualify for these things, you guys can always reach out to us or your agent, and you can always ask for help and see what type of eligibility you qualify for.
Yeah.
You know, you always want to make sure that if you're on this type of program, you see if you can qualify for extra help.
Right, and these programs have to be renewed every 6 months, every year.
Mm-hmm.
So make sure that you're on top of it. That way you don't lose your benefits. I think the threshold right now for Florida specifically is $1,200, $1,300.
$1,300. Anything below that, you're fine.
Right. So the person has to earn less than $1,200 or $1,300 for them to be able to qualify for Medicaid. Mm-hmm. If you think that you're in that threshold, or if you know someone that you think is in that threshold, reach out. Like it's worth applying for. Again, like Louis said, you have to get approved. But 9 times out of 10, if the income is that low, they will approve you. And believe me, it does bring a lot of extra help, a lot of extra benefits like food cards, grocery cards, rent assistance.
Right.
They no longer have to pay the Part B premium, like Louis said. So there's resources that are out there. We just have to look for them. It's a little bit of legwork.
Mm-hmm. And some of the programs also that I know someone, one person that I usually send all my clients to is the Shine program. The Shine program is specifically designed just to help senior citizens apply for these type of programs.
That's
so
awesome.
if any of your agents have clients out there that need help, at least here in the state of Florida, I know that they have the Shine program, and that's
awesome.
something that is very beneficial because not a lot of companies do that type of work for them.
And every state will have a different threshold. The FPL, the Federal Poverty Line of Florida, is a lot lower, so I know the threshold is lower. But it could be different in Texas, it could be different in Georgia. So just get familiar with your state, get familiar with the resources that are available. And again, make sure that you're applying. Most of the time when people do have Medicaid, they will be granted a social worker. Oftentimes not. So just make sure that you're getting in touch with that social worker, with your agent, or just your local Social Security office. They're more than happy to help you as well.
Yeah. And then the next and last topic, let's go into your personal story.
Yeah, so I wanted to bring my personal situation that actually happened to me about 14 years ago. For those of you that don't know, I had a complete spinal reconstructive surgery, and I felt like this story was really important to bring to the table because it was a surgery that was literally life-saving. It was life-altering. Doctors told me that if I didn't get the surgery, by the time I was 21, I'd probably have a heart attack. So for those of you that don't know what scoliosis is, it's when your spinal cord is curving. So my spine was the shape of an S. For those of you watching on YouTube, I'll throw up a picture of the X-ray. Warning, it's a little gory, so shield your eyes. And then, so we got a lot of consultations. I was about 14 or 15 when they diagnosed it. We got a lot of second opinions, a lot of doctors giving their input, and everybody pointed in the same direction. Surgery, this case is severely abnormal, and the surgery was going to be about $90,000 at that point. That was a good 14 years ago. So at this point, it could be more. So it was very, very, very expensive. We did not know how we were going to cover it. I'm very unfamiliar with how my parents' insurance was at that point. But I just know that it was probably not going to be covered, and it was something that they were either going to have to finance or take a HELOC on the house or something. Yeah. I don't know. But a very nice friend of my mom that worked in the medical field had suggested Shriners Hospital for Children that was up in Tampa, or it is up in Tampa. And it's a donation-based hospital that helps children in the same situation that I was in, with severe cases of deformity, scoliosis, a lot of, these cases, children that are maybe born with like, a shorter leg than the other. I saw all types of things when I went. It was very, very sad. So the hospital works based on an application basis. So we drove all the way up to Tampa. We sat down with the doctor. They reviewed my case. We got on their waiting list. You have to go on a waiting list. It is donation funded. So the whole entire surgery was going to be covered 100% based off donations and volunteers. And I was about 17. It was about 5 months to my 18th birthday. And we get a call and they're like, hey, listen, we've reviewed your case. We're going to bump you up to the front of the list because in 5 months you turn 18. And once you turn 18, you're no longer eligible.
Well, that's a blessing. That's a blessing.
Yeah, it is a blessing because, they already knew that, like, hey, she's going to turn 18 soon. Once she turns 18, she's no longer eligible. It's a children's hospital. So the case is so bad. Let's push her up to the front of the list. So, I mean, it was a blessing that they did. And I was able to have the surgery. Thank God. It was a tremendous surgery. I had to learn how to walk again. It was very, very, very crazy.
Life altering.
Life altering. I have a scar from literally top to bottom. I have 2 rods, over 24 metal screws in my spine. And I'm just forever eternally grateful that that hospital does exist and that there are, again, resources out there for anyone that has, a situation similar. Maybe you can't find a doctor or an insurance to cover a certain surgery. There's a lot of people that I know have asked me for bariatric surgery. There's not really any insurance companies that cover that in Florida. So you have to do your research. It's a little bit of legwork, but this is your health. This is something that should be prioritized. Yeah,
and this goes back to the whole point of this episode. These assistance programs, they do exist.
Yeah.
It's all about just going out there and finding them. Ask your agent and see if they know about any of them. You could always reach out to us, and we could always try to tell you guys and point you guys in the right direction.
Yeah. The point is, you're not alone.
Yeah, you're not alone. You're not alone, and you guys, everyone needs to realize that there's actually help out there. So
yeah, that's why us agents exist. If you don't have yourself a good insurance agent to kind of walk you through these things, explain to you what's a deductible, what are things like that, how to get the most savings out of your insurance company, you need to find yourself a new agent for sure. And our team is growing here at Verity. We're looking for new agents to kind of take under our wing to educate them so they can continue to educate their clients as well and go above and beyond. It's more than just, here's a price of your plan, give me the payment method, never talk to you again. No. There's too many agents that do that in today's society. So our mission is to change that and actually help others try to get their services covered and the doctors that they need and things like that.
So. So thank you guys for watching. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, comment on the
Share,
bottom. Do everything that you guys can. Always, every support that you guys do, any of these small interactions that you guys do with this video, it helps us improve. And if you guys have any comments, want to drop a comment in the bottom, and maybe have like a topic that you guys want to talk about that you guys want us to go over, more than happy to do that.
Absolutely.
Just make sure you guys do that, and we'll see you in the next one.
See you in the next one. Bye.